Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. I am very happy to welcome Robin Short. Robin is a WABA instructor and is also a Black Women Bike organizer, and she will be facilitating today's webinar. So I will allow Robin to kick us off. Please be sure to stick around for the end of the presentation. We will be having a Q&A section. All right, Robin.
All right, thanks, Sydney. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today to today's webinar. Maybe we should start using that. Today's webinar about trail highlights in Prince George's County. All right, so hopefully everybody can see my screen now. Today, we're going to talk about what I call Tales and Trails of Prince George's. So we're going to talk about the best rides that are right in your backyard. So just a little bit about me. Hey, we match. That's how you know it's me. So as Sydney said, I am an instructor with WABA. I'm also an LCI, certified through the League of American Bicyclists, and I'm on the leadership team for Black Women Bike. In addition to that, I live and work in Prince George's County, and as Angela also works, our county executive likes to say, I am Prince George's proud. This is a beautiful area to live in. I was born in DC and I grew up in Prince George's, various areas around the county. And so because I live here, this is where I do most of my riding. And I know that, you know, there are a lot of beautiful areas that are maybe unexplored for people who maybe don't spend a lot of time here, or maybe if you do live here, but really all of the trails you know about are just like in DC and Virginia. So we're gonna do a little bit of exploring on what's to offer. So typically when I hear people talk about biking in Prince George's County, the first thing that comes to mind is the branch trails, you know, the Met branch and all of the various branches that are a part of that system. But in fact, Prince George's County has way more to offer than the branch trails, as wonderful as they are. The county has over 175 miles of trail throughout from north to south, end to end. And so today what I want to do is, obviously we only have an hour. I cannot cover all of my favorite places, but I've basically selected my top 4 that I use most frequently. And then I have 2 what I would call notables. So those of you who love dirt and gravel will want to pay attention to that. And then I'm also going to share some resources with you. So you all will be receiving a copy of this presentation. And I have a lot of links throughout the presentation to different resources, such as my own routes that I like, you know, and some various other resources that relate to the things I'm talking about. So when you're looking at the presentation, anything that you see that is underlined will be clickable when you get it, right? So let's get right to it. So my #1 favorite trail in Prince George's County is the Washington, Baltimore, and Annapolis, or what you would call the WB&A trail. This is a wonderful trail, and anybody can use this trail. It's for groups, it's for individuals, it's for walkers, runners, bikers, whatever you want to do. This is an absolutely stunning trail. And what you're looking at right now is myself with a couple of the wonderful ladies from my bike club out on a Monday evening training ride last year, not this year because COVID. So where in the world is the WB&A? So the WB&A essentially runs from Lanham to Bowie. And for those of you who may not be as familiar with Prince George's County and you don't know these roads I'm talking about, sorry, you can Google map it. And I have links to those as well, but you can see this map that's on my screen now. And so essentially this trail runs Lanham to Bowie. It's about 12 miles round trip. And it goes from 450 and 704 to Racetrack Road, which is like right behind Bowie State University. And as you can see, I have links to a route and the trail map and directions. So a couple of fun facts about the WB&A. It sort of has a bit of an interesting history. So this trail, it's kind of broken up into segments. Like you have a segment of it that's in Prince George's County. You have a segment of it that I believe is in Anne Arundel County. And then you have the B&A, which goes from like upper Anne Arundel to like the Baltimore area. And there are these gaps within the trail. And so over time, it's been hotly contested whether or not the trail is ever going to be connected. You know, there have been various conversations with the people who live in the communities. Some want it, some don't, things like that. So I am very hopeful that one day we will eventually get this connection, because if we do, that would be an amazing route to take from end to end. So WABA is definitely keeping track of those developments. So you can click on that link when you get the presentation to read more up on that. And I've also put some additional fun facts from Bike Washington regarding this trail. So a couple of highlights. What's so great about the WBNA? So one of the things that I like to tell people, especially beginners, is the trail is flat, but I say that it is deceptively flat. So even though there are no real hills or no climbing other than coming on and off of bridges, your quads will definitely get a burn. There's this certain section where like all of the power lines are that looks flat, but the longer you stay on it, you're definitely going to feel that your quad muscles are getting a workout. So it's nothing to be afraid of, but it will definitely give you some good exercise on this trail. In addition to it, for those of you who may not be comfortable out on the road yet, this is an excellent option for you because you are off the street 95% of the time. And that other 5% is basically you like crossing over a rarely trafficked neighborhood street for 2 seconds to get to the other side of the trail. And also, you know, you don't have to cross any highways or anything like that because the trail has bridges that takes you over all of that. Because of where the trail is located, it is not heavily trafficked. It is not like the Mount Vernon Trail where, you know, every inch is covered with people. And it's very wide. So when you do have to share the trail with walkers and bikers, it is very easy to do because it's a 10-foot wide trail. In addition to that, it's also great because it has plenty of rest stops, plenty of benches and picnic spots. So if you're not the type that can go 12 miles end to end without stopping, you definitely have plenty of places to chill out and relax. In addition, there is a rec center, Glendale Rec Center, that has bathrooms and water fountains when it's open, if you go during the time that it's open. And also there's porta potties sprinkled throughout the trail. And the trail has some nice scenes. When I get through to a couple of more slides, you'll see there's a really beautiful pond at Electric Avenue where you can see a little bit of wildlife, some turtles and things like that. So it's a really nice scenic trail to explore. Some additional highlights, as you can see from my little video here, during the spring, there are cherry blossoms along this trail. So if you love the blossoms, but you hate going to the tidal basin when it's filled with tourists, here you go. Bring your bike over to the WBNA and get your feel for the cherry blossoms. Another highlight to this trail is that you can ride it all the way out to Forbes Boulevard and right into Vista Gardens Marketplace. So that's a great place for you to grab lunch. You know, there's different restaurants over there, you know, Target, grocery store, things like that. Unfortunately, there are no bike racks. So it would be good if you're going to do that, take a buddy with you that can watch the bikes while you go in. In addition to that, for those of you who do like the road and who like training, this route gives you a myriad of options to hop off onto the road and lengthen your route through the Glendale area and through the Bowie area. And it also gives you an option to tack on some hill training. So actually the spot that we're looking at now where this cherry blossom tree is, if you hop off the road and go under the bridge, there is a ginormous hill that is fantastic for hill training. So if you want hill repeats, this is the way to get it. So a couple of things to watch out for. The WBNA is mostly unshaded, so you definitely want to wear your sunscreen and make sure you bring water. In addition to that, during the summertime, there is the occasional snake. Now, I'll say this, I've been riding on this trail for 4 or 5 years, and I have seen 2 snakes in 4 or 5 years. So don't be alarmed, just something that could potentially happen. You'll see a sunbathing snake on a warm day. In addition to that, near the Racetrack road end, you'll actually be adjacent to a gun range. Now, again, no need to be alarmed because there is a huge barrier wall that is there to protect you. And also, even though the shots will sound loud, they are actually very far away from where the trail is. It's just like the way the echoes work. It just seems like it's right there. And I bring this up because the very first time I rode this trail, I did not know about this. And as soon as I got to that part, you know, I heard like all this fire. And obviously I kind of went a little crazy, like, what's happening? But then a friend of mine told me, oh yeah, that's what it is. So now it doesn't bother me. So just keep those things in mind. I told you this trail was interesting. Now, access points. How do you get to the WBNA? So my recommended access point is at Glendale Community Center. And if you start at Glendale Community Center, it will put you right at the midpoint of the trail. There's plenty of free parking. And also starting here is what's going to give you the option to tack on that optional road route. In addition to that, you can also pick this up at the Racetrack Road Trailhead. So Racetrack Road, and this trailhead doesn't really have an address, but it's basically 1 mile southeast of Bowie State University. Now that lot is small, so on very nice days, it can fill up quickly, but in the wintertime, there's nobody there. So if you're a winter rider, you know, you won't have to worry about it. Also at Racetrack Road, they do have bike racks, but there are no bathrooms there. It's just a trailhead. So keep that in mind, prepare accordingly. In addition to that, there is also a very small parking lot right off of Electric Avenue. And the photo that I have is actually where this is. This is the Electric Avenue lot. And this is where the pond is. And if you were to pan the camera to the right of where my bike is, you'll see a parking lot probably has maybe like, I don't know, about 25 spaces in it. And there's also some picnic tables there. So if you live in this neighborhood, you can easily just walk to this lot and, you know, you can have a picnic, hop on your bikes, go where you want to go. So that is the WBNA, which is my number one. So what is my second favorite? So Watkins Park is definitely going to be my number 2 trail on the list. And even though this is my number 2 trail, it's probably the one that I ride the most often, just because I don't have to drive to it. I go right outside my door. Here's my friend Gwen coming into the shot. I go right outside my door and I bike directly to it. So when I don't feel like thinking, I just want to go out on my bike. This is where I go. So you'll notice I say Watkins Park and connecting road routes. So I'll explain what I mean by that. So Watkins Park is essentially a 2-mile loop. It's located in Upper Marlboro, right off of 202. And so one of the caveats that I give with Watkins Park is it's not really a bike trail, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a bike destination because essentially it is a park loop. However, it is fantastic for those who want to extend or add some nice scenery to a road route. So, you know, for example, if you don't live in Maryland, like you live in Virginia or somewhere, like I wouldn't drive to Watkins Park to bike Watkins Park. But if you want to bike a road route in the area, then this is absolutely a fantastic location to come to. So let me explain my route. So like I said, this is a door-to-door route for me. So essentially when I ride this route, I pretty much start near the Largo Metro, and I will bike either up what is now Medical Center, I think it's called Medical Center Drive, used to be Arena Drive, through Lake Arbor, or I will more often take Harry S. Truman through the neighborhoods, hop on 202 and take 202 all the way up. And then I will go through the park and I will go out the backside and I will loop, not loop, but ride that neighborhood that takes you past First Baptist Church of Glenarden, which will dump you back onto 202, and then I will continue that loop. And depending on how long my legs are that day determines how many times I'll do that. Maybe 2 times, 3 times, whatever I feel like. So that's one route I typically take. The other route that I typically take is a longer route where I pretty much follow the same process, start near the Largo Metro, come up Truman, hop on 202, and I will go through the trail, but I don't go out the backside by First Baptist. I will get back on 202 and I will go take 202 all the way down into what we call the town of Upper Marlboro, like where City Hall and all of that type of stuff is. And that gives you a really nice loop. Like it brings you back up White House Road and then back up 202. So of course, you know, these are road routes where you really do need to be comfortable riding the road. So I wouldn't recommend this as your first road ride, but you know, if you've been out there for a while and you're comfortable, these are some great routes to take. So what's so great about Watkins Park? Scenes. The park is absolutely beautiful, and it is definitely a hidden gem. And there's nobody on it because, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not a cycling destination. So usually when you come here, there's people walking, jogging, there's families, and the occasional cyclist. Now on the backside of the park, because there's not a lot of traffic, you just have long stretches of what feel like is endless, peaceful, just beautiful road and roadside trip. So that is really the benefit of Watkins Park. In addition to that, in December, those of you who live in the area know about the Festival of Lights. It's like the big to-do around Christmas time. And it's super fun to bike through that. So even if you don't bike through it at night when the cars come through, even during the day when you bike through the park, you see all of the displays that they have set up. So they have like these gigantic bikes set up, and you know, all of these different, you know, characters and things all over the park. So it's really fun. So especially if you want to bring your kids out on their bikes, it's something that they can really enjoy. And also there's the playground and all of that other stuff there that they can take advantage of. So what to watch out for? Really not much. Like I said, it's pretty quiet. So the park, I kind of divide it into sections. So there's the back side, which is the side that we're looking at. And then there's like the busy side where, you know, the main building is, and, you know, where everybody goes and parks and picnics and all of that. So if you come in from this end, once you get in the park near the playgrounds, there's going to be a lot of kids and walkers. So you definitely want to reduce your speed and pay attention. And when you're coming past that part, when you get to the part where a lot of people like to walk and jog, again, you're just going to have to reduce your speed and just pay attention, make sure you have your bell. But once you get beyond that, I guess what you would call a half-mile stretch, smooth sailing, you know, nobody but you, your bike, and the road at that point. So that's definitely one of the benefits. So how do you get to Watkins Park? So you get there at Watkins Regional Park. So if you don't know where it is, you know, you can definitely Google map it. There's plenty of parking, there's bathrooms there, and there's plenty of picnic areas there. However, so that would be for anyone that is not in the area. But if you live in the area, I strongly encourage you to just bike to Watkins from your neighborhood, because you would be surprised at what nice routes that you can create. And of course, you don't have to worry about packing up your bike and, you know, all of that sort of thing. So if you live like around the Largo Metro, if you live in that Harry S. Truman Campus Way, all of those neighborhoods around there, the neighborhoods that are surrounding Watkins off of Central Avenue, or if you live in the neighborhoods surrounding First Baptist, I definitely recommend actually just biking from door to door, because it's really nice. So that is Watkins, my number 2 pick. So what is my number 3 pick? My number 3 would definitely be Henson Creek, for sure. Henson Creek is sort of one of those kind of hidden gems that not a lot of people know about unless you kind of live in the area. But it is a really nice trail. When I first started biking, this was pretty much the only trail that I knew about, and the only trail that I ever biked, with the exception of, like, you know, Mount Vernon Trail. It is very quiet, it's very peaceful, and it is very beautiful. And honestly, it's the only reason it's listed as my number 3 is because it's far away from where I live. If I lived it, you know, closer to it, it would be my number 1. So where is it? Henson Creek is in, well, I can't say it's in Temple Hills, but it basically runs from Temple Hills to Fort Washington, as you can see from my trusty map here. So it is 12 miles round trip. And basically, it's another one of those like the WBNA, where it is pretty much all trail all the time. There is one area when you get past, so it sort of runs through Tucker Road Athletic Complex. So when you're leaving Tucker Road Athletic Complex, you have to get on the road for about maybe 45 seconds, where you're going up and you're crossing over to get to the Tucker Road Community Center. And then once you get to the community center, it's back on the trail. So, you know, you have this much road that you're dealing with on the trail. And you have just a couple of like at grade crossings. Other than that, all trail. So what are some of the highlights of Henson Creek? So as I said, it is very scenic and very quiet. So, you know, if you want to just go out and clear your head and just do an easy ride, you don't feel like riding hard or thinking about it too much, this is a great place to go. The trail has mostly, you know, walkers and joggers and a few recreational bikers. There's no pelotons. You're not going to have to worry about people speeding by because, again, this is mostly a recreational trail. So, you know, people don't really come here for training rides. They just come here to beat around on the weekends and just, you know, get in some nice scenes. The major benefit is that this trail is pancake flat. So I told you that the WBNA is deceptively flat. This one is actually flatty flat. So for those of you who may be beginners who are looking to just build up your mileage and build up your strength and your endurance, this is the perfect place to start. Now, with that being said, at the very end, if you want to, if you're brave enough, there is a very fun and very steep hill at the very end of the trail once you come to that last part. And I actually enjoy challenging myself and seeing if I can like beat my own PR going up that hill at the very end of the trail. But again, it is at the very end. So literally, if you don't want to do it, you just turn around and come right back to the end of the trail where you started. So this is an excellent trail for newbies and folks of any ability level that just are looking to pretty much go out for a nice ride and build up your mileage. So some things to watch out for. Now, the one annoying thing lately about the Henson Creek Trail is construction. Now, construction is good because it means that they're making improvements. However, when they do construction, they tend to just shut down large portions of the trail without warning for months at a time. So you think the trail is open, you get there, and now here's a big old fence, and you're like, what? So that is the one annoying thing, and that's why I haven't been on this trail for a while, just because I was waiting for the construction to be done. So the trail was closed for a while, then it reopened, and everybody was like, yay, let's go back. And then now I've seen a couple of tweets out there that say that it's closed again for construction. And I believe what's happening is I think they've started on that new Tucker Road ice rink. And I think that is that's what that's about, which is actually a wonderful thing because it's much needed, especially after they had that fire. So that's one thing to watch out for. Just check before you go if you're planning on really getting that whole 12 miles. Now, if you're not, you don't really need to know about it because if half of the trail is closed, no big deal for you. You only wanted to do 6 miles anyway. The other thing to watch out for is, now I said before that the trail is very quiet and not busy. So during non-peak hours, the trail can be very secluded. So I know some people may not be comfortable with that. So if that is a concern for you, if you really like a trail with a lot of activity, then you probably want to go during peak hours, which is, you know, when most people are out on it. For me, it doesn't bother me. Like I said, I've been riding this trail forever. I've never had a problem. I've never seen any lurkers or anything like that out there. But, you know, I encourage people to do what's comfortable for you. In addition to that, some of the areas of the trail are a little bit rough. So there are a couple of areas where you have like some tree roots that are coming up through the pavement and things like that. It's not often, but there's just certain pockets where you want to pay attention to that. So once you've ridden the trail once or twice, you'll know where those areas are and you'll know how to avoid them. So, you know, don't come flying through that section at 20 miles an hour because you know that there's a couple of roots there that could, you know, puncture your tire. And the only other thing to look out for is after some really heavy storms like what we've had in recent weeks, there can be minor flooding in certain areas, but it is minor. It's nothing that would be impassable. And also every now and then, like after a heavy storm, there are a lot of old trees on this trail. So there are a couple of times where there have been some trees down that I've had to navigate around. But usually they're easy to navigate around or just navigate over. You know, you pick up your bike, put it over, and then you just climb over. But other than that, pretty much uneventful on this trail. So that is my number 3, Henson Creek. Definitely one that is worth checking out. So what is my number 4? Oh, never mind. I forgot. Access points. Obviously, I can't see my presenter notes. How do you get to Henson Creek? So my personal recommendation on accessing this trail is through Henson Creek Neighborhood Park. And Henson Creek Neighborhood Park is just a really small little park that is right off of Temple Hill Road. And it is actually the trailhead. And I recommend this area because, you know, it's pretty quiet. It's just in the neighborhood. There's plenty of parking there, and you could just either bike over there from the local neighborhoods. So if you live in like all of those neighborhoods that come into Temple Hills Road, like Weldon Drive, and those areas like going up towards Crossland High School, you could just bike down and just access the trail from the Henson Creek Neighborhood Park. Other than that, the other place that I would recommend is just going right to Tucker Road Athletic Complex and Community Center. So the athletic complex is on one side of the street, the community center is on the other side of the street. You could park at either one of those and you'll be right in the middle of the trail. So again, for those who may be beginners, you're not quite sure about that distance yet, park in the middle and you always have the option to bail back. So the good thing about Tucker Road is it's super busy. They have a lot of football games and I think like tennis matches and things like that at the athletic complex. Plenty of parking, picnic areas, bathrooms there. There are no bathrooms or porta potties at the Henson Creek Neighborhood Park though, just so you know, so prepare yourself accordingly. But those are pretty much the two. You could also get to it if you live in the area of Bach Road, you could bike to that end of it and just pick it up like at that little place through the woods. I can't give you an address because I don't know. But if you live in that area, you probably know how to pick it up that way, but there's no parking on that end, except for if you go through the neighborhoods and park at one of those neighborhood parks that are adjacent to the trail. Like I know there's one off of 210, but I don't know the name of it because I just bike through it. But those would be your other access point options. So this time, okay, that is Henson Creek. So what is my number 4? My number 4 is the Wilson Bridge Trail. Now, I know when I say Wilson Bridge Trail, some of you may have said, wait a minute, isn't that Virginia? I thought we were talking about Prince George's County. Actually, no. The Wilson Bridge Trail is technically in Prince George's County, and I'll tell you why. So where in the world is it? The Wilson Bridge Trail basically runs from Oxen Hill to Northern Virginia. So basically it is the Wilson Bridge with a little bit tacked on this side in Oxen Hill and a little bit tacked on this side going towards the Huntington Metro. So now the Wilson Bridge Trail in itself is not necessarily a bike trail. It is essentially a connector trail. So it starts at the National Harbor food shops. And then if you take it off the bridge, it pretty much dumps you right down onto the Mount Vernon Trail, from which you can pretty much go anywhere you want. And so basically, like as someone who lives on this side of town, a lot of times, you know, I don't want to have to like drive to Virginia. I don't know Virginia very well. I don't like driving in Virginia. I always get lost. It just irritates me. Those of you who live in Virginia probably feel the same way about Maryland. But so I try to find places that I can access from, you know, where I know. So I like to park on my side of town, bike over there, come back, you know, I can grab lunch, do whatever I want to do. Oh, by the way, I'll mention if you want to explore National Harbor, there are bike racks around at Potbelly and whatever that seafood restaurant is with the blue awnings, but there are none at the outlets. So keep that in mind. But the Wilson Bridge Trail is really nice, especially if you want to challenge yourself. And I'll get into a couple of reasons how you can do that. So a couple of routes. So typically when I take this route, these are the routes that I would take. And you'll see that these are some lengthy routes that I'm showing you for those of you who may be beginners, but don't get discouraged because this is the kind of route where it's as long as you choose to make it. So literally you turn around when you get tired. You do not have to do 40 miles. So my first route is basically I start at Oxen Hill Road at the park and ride, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I bike down, I go over the bridge, and when I come over the bridge, I take a right, I go up to the tidal basin, and then I take it all the way back down, all the way down to Mount Vernon and back over the bridge, back to the Oxen Hill Park and Ride. So that is typically the route that I do most of the time. And again, you could only do half that. You could either take the tidal basin side, or you could take the Mount Vernon side, or you could follow my route. Another route that I'll typically do would be Jones Point to Mount Vernon. So if you don't want to park on the Oxen Hill side, but you do want to do the bridge, you can park at Jones Point Park, which is essentially as soon as you come off the bridge, it is the first exit, and the park is literally underneath the bridge. So you can start there, take it all the way down to Mount Vernon, take it back up, and then just go back over the bridge. And you can do bridge repeats. I actually do that often. If you like to climb, those bridge repeats, quite a doozy. You'll get your workout in. My other route would be also starting at Jones Point, but you could also start this on the other side at the park and ride and taking it up into the WNOD. And this is one that a friend of mine that lives in the area showed me, and it's actually really nice. Now, for those of you that know the area, you may have a different WOD version of this. I've only been on the trail once, so I don't really know it. I went with a friend that lives on it. So you could probably add to my route and just add even more miles if you know the area. So what are some of the highlights of the Wilson Bridge Trail? Scenes. Very beautiful. Going over the bridge is, absolutely beautiful because you get to see the water. And even if you go down to National Harbor, it's just really beautiful. The other highlight is, like I mentioned, it connects you to the Northern Virginia Trail Network. So the Mount Vernon, the WOD, and all of those other acronyms that are over there without actually having to drive to Virginia. So if you're directionally challenged and you get lost in Virginia, this is the connector for you. And it's also a great ride all day option. So like I said, because you can add on as much trail or as much road as you want to, you determine how long your day is when you take this route. So if you want to do 6 miles, or if you want to do 60 miles, you have that option with this route. And it's also great if you want to challenge. So getting on and off the bridge is actually pretty steep and pretty challenging. And so if you like that sort of thing and you really want to build your climbing ability and build your strength, fantastic option. Also, I say climbing up what I call the mountain to Oxen Hill Road is a great challenge. So the place that I typically access this trail, actually, let me not get ahead of myself. Let me talk about the other things to watch out for. So definitely when you're on this trail, you want to watch out for pedestrians. And those of you who frequent the Mount Vernon Trail, you know what I'm talking about. There's people everywhere. It is very congested. So you definitely want to reduce your speed, bring a bell, whistle, whatever you got to make noise, bring it, because there are a lot of people and a lot of traffic on this trail. So I always tell people the further you get from DC, the less congested it is. So if you don't like having to dodge people and dogs and strollers, go to the Mount Vernon side because the further away you get, the quieter and less people there are. But if you like that sort of thing, then go towards the DC end. Either way, you're going to get a good ride. Now, access points. So I keep talking about picking up this trail in Oxen Hill. Now, this is a little known secret, and mostly the only people who know about this are people that live in the area. So don't broadcast this too much because we don't want it to get overcrowded. But there is a park and ride lot on Oxen Hill Road right before you get to Tanger Outlets. And it is the perfect place to park if you want to access the Wilson Bridge Trail. So basically, it's free parking, and all you have to do is just bike across the street and carefully down the pedestrian path. So in my previous slide, I talked about the mountain to Oxen Hill Road. If you like to climb, basically, if you've been to the National Harbor or the MGM, you notice that big hill that takes you down from the bottom all the way up to the street level. That is a pedestrian slash bike path. So basically, you're going to take that path all the way down up under the highway bridge, and then it's going to dump you right onto the start of the Wilson Bridge Trail. If you hang a left, you'll be going to the harbor. So that is a gravel path. So you can take it on a road bike, but just be careful because it's loose, like loose rocks. If you take a right, that's going to put you on the trail, which is going to be paved, and it's going to take you up. You're going to do a loop-de-loop to get on the bridge, and then you'll be on the bridge. So if you like to climb, it's really fun going up and down that hill. So you definitely want to park at the park and ride. But if you do not want to climb that big hill, you can park anywhere in National Harbor. There are plenty of parking lots and meters if you definitely don't want to make that climb, or if you just don't want to drive over the bridge and park over there, you can just park at National Harbor, pick it up the same way. And your third option for access would be, of course, Jones Point Park. So when you put in Jones Point Park, if you don't know the area, if you're like me and you can't find anything in Virginia, use this Google Map link that I put in the presentation, because it gives you the address to the Jones Point parking lot. The first time I tried to find this, I just put in Jones Point Park, and it had me out in some neighborhood at a playground. It was really weird. It took me forever to find the parking lot. But anyway, follow that address and you'll get there easily. Parking there is also free and plentiful. There are bathrooms there, there's picnic areas there, and it's very scenic. So the photo that you're looking at now, I'm actually at the end of the parking lot where you get onto the trail. And basically it's just right in front of the bridge, and you can just sit on the water and just enjoy it. There are people fishing there. There's people boating back and forth. So, you know, it's just a really nice view from that side. So that is Wilson Bridge. So we've gone through my top four. We've gone through the WBNA, gone through Watkins Park, Henson Creek, and the Wilson Bridge Trail, which is Prince George's, not Prince George's. I still consider it on the Prince George's County side of things until you connect to the Mount Vernon Trail. So most of those are, you know, any type of bike, anything you want to ride. And even if you're not a cyclist, if you're a triathlete. So for example, with the Watkins Park Trail, that's also a good one for triathletes. So if you need to bike and run, or do athletes, if you need to bike and run, you can't swim there. You can do your running loops there, and then you can hop on your bike, and then you can do your bike training. So, you know, a lot of these options will facilitate that. Whatever type of activity you want to do, you can do it here. But I also want to talk about a couple of notables. So notables, especially for those of you who like to go off-road, if you like dirt, gravel, mountain biking, single track, or even if you have, you know, just fat bikes, wide tires, these would be some good options for you. So for my first recommendation would be Patuxent River Park. Now, Patuxent River Park, oh my goodness, it's huge. It stretches all the way from up here all the way down to like the Fort Washington area. It's huge. And there are various natural areas, parks, and trails that sort of funnel into Patuxent River Park. So one of them that is not far from where I live, I'm in Upper Marlboro, by the way, is Governor Bridge Natural Area. So Governor Bridge is in Bowie, and it really is pretty much all dirt and gravel the whole way. So, you know, if you've got a road bike with skinny tires, it's not going to be fun for you. But if you have like a hybrid or even a mountain bike, you're going to love it, because there are some mountain trails, and there's just, you know, regular old dirt trails. But there's beautiful scenes in here. Like there's a big lake, there's a lot of wildlife. It's just a really pretty, you know, kind of hidden gem if you like that type of riding, or even just walking explorations. The other one, so for the mountain bikers out there, Rosaryville State Park has great single track. So if you love single track, and they have different options. They have beginner trails and they have intermediate trails. And I think they also have advanced trails. I have not personally ridden Rosaryville State Park just because I don't have my mountain bike anymore. Unfortunately, the one that you see in the picture, I don't have anymore. But when I get a new one, I definitely plan on exploring Rosaryville. And Bike Dr. Waldorf actually does shop rides at Rosaryville. They're not doing them right now because pandemic, but hopefully this time next year, they will be doing those shop rides again. And also when they do their shop rides, they also do mountain bike demos. So if you're in the market for a mountain bike, I forget, it might be Trek or I don't remember what brand it is, Fox or somebody like that. They will come out and do demos. You can sign up, you can demo the mountain bikes, and they have people out there that know the trails, and you can have a lot of fun at those events. So now, like I said, we didn't have a lot of time, and I want to make sure I leave time for questions. So these are some of my favorites. There are other trails and other parks and areas in the county that I absolutely love that I didn't get to. So hopefully while you've been watching, if you know of some areas that I have not covered, hopefully you've been dropping those in the comments, because you may have seen some places that I don't even know about. And I am always looking for new places to explore, especially right now when I'm not trying to be out and about too much and I just kind of want to stay in my immediate area. So yeah, definitely share the trails that you know about. Now, my final notable, getting into that same realm, is the best place to explore is your neighborhood, especially if you live in the county, right in your own backyard. So, right now, there aren't a lot of group rides and big events happening because of the pandemic. So now is a fantastic time to just get out in your neighborhood. Explore your random neighborhood roads, and experiment with creating your own routes. One of the things that I've been doing is literally going on Google and finding all of my local parks that I have never been to, and either biking to them or, figuring out walking routes. I've been doing mostly walking lately just because I'm rehabbing a knee problem, but that is really the best way to find new places. So like, you can see right now my bike is just in the neighborhood. And just as a quick point, that is not my water bottle on the ground. I was just too exhausted to move it. I'm not a litterer, just want to put that out there. Anyway, so yeah, also the other good reason to explore your neighborhood routes is we need you out there. A lot of us who live in the county are a little, frustrated about the lack of bicycling infrastructure, but a lot of times that stuff is based on the demand. And, if our county officials don't think we need it or we're not looking for it, they won't put it here. So the more bikes that we put out onto Prince George's County roads and Prince George's County trails, the more we can make the case for that additional bike infrastructure right here in our own neighborhoods. And I'm really excited about this bike boom because it means more bikes, and more bikes means more infrastructure, more trails, more all of that. So I want to share a couple of resources. So if you want to learn more about trails and details, Maryland National Park and Planning Commission, I've given you a direct link to the page that has all of the trails in the county. Also, I want to talk about the Capital Trails Coalition. And I'm glad that Sydney brought this to my attention. So in the text that you see that's highlighted, I've given you a link to a map that shows all of the planned trails and connections in the county. And you definitely want to take a look at this because it's really, really exciting. And I'm really happy to see that the county is now becoming a priority in terms of connecting and extending the trail network that already exists. So some of the things that are coming down the pike, I saw a Central Avenue connector. I saw a connector down in the National Harbor area that I think is maybe connecting Henson Creek and National Harbor, kind of, sort of. I forget what the other ones were, but if you take a look at that map, there are some really exciting things coming up, and the WBNA connector will hopefully be a part of that. So check that out. You can also check out Bike Washington. So Bike Washington has more details on trails and also really good road routes, not just in DC, but in Prince George's County, but also in Virginia, going way out, I think even towards West Virginia. So if you're really looking to explore and maybe even get out of the area, Bike Washington has some really good options for that, and they give you all of the nitty gritty. Also, you can follow me on Strava. So if you live in my neck of the woods and you want to see where I ride and what kind of routes I've put together, you can definitely follow me. That's how you can see the maps that I have linked throughout the presentation. And also, I want to see where you're riding, because again, I don't know everything, and I'm an explorer as well. And I'm always looking for new areas to explore for sure. So the final resource that I want to share with you, and I'm going to get through this quickly so we can address some questions, local clubs. So I know when I first started riding, you know, most of the clubs that I knew about, they were all riding in Northern Virginia and DC. And I'm like, especially, you know, when you're working and you want to do rides on weekday evenings, you know, most of the time it's just impossible for you to, you know, get home, get your bike and get out to wherever these trails are meeting up. So these are some local trails that ride in the county that you may want to take a look at. So the first one I highly recommend is Diva Cycling. I am a member of Diva Cycling, and it is a fantastic group. It is a women only group, and it is truly all levels. So when I talk about, so basically we ride Upper Marlboro, Bowie, Glendale, Greenbelt, and beyond, but most of our weekday rides are in that area. So for Upper Marlboro, I say the 202, because for those of us who know Upper Marlboro, you have 202 Upper Marlboro and 301 Upper Marlboro. So we mostly ride the 202 side of Upper Marlboro. And our rides are a mix of social rides and training rides. So that's why I say it's for all levels. If you have not been on a bike in 20 years and you're just getting back into it, this group is good for you. If you've been racing for 10 years and you want to train, this group is good for you. My next recommended group would be the Oxen Hill Bicycle and Trail Club, which is essentially the same vibe, but instead of the central Prince George's County area, they're in the southern Prince George's County area. So that Oxen Hill, Fort Wash, Indian Head, Accokeek, Brandywine area is where they mostly ride. It's another wonderful group. It's a co-ed group, and it's another one that is truly all levels. And they classify their rides. So, you know, the D and the C rides will be the beginners, and then the A, AA, whatever would be for the more advanced folks. So there's something for everybody. And if you're a climber, you're going to love them because they love hills. And I think most of that is just the nature of Southern Prince George. This is just a hilly place. But I know several people in that group, and they have nothing but good things to say. For my intermediate and advanced riders, two groups that I can recommend would be Beach Tree Peddlers. It is a co-ed group, and mostly they ride the 301 Upper Marlboro. So like Croom Road, those areas. Most of their rides are intermediate and advanced conditioning rides. So if you're serious about training and getting stronger and faster, this is a really nice chill group to do that with. But they do have social rides from time to time. So just check out their meetup, and again, just pay attention to the pace and the classification. And finally, actually what is probably the largest cycling club in the area, GII, or Getting It In Cyclists. It is a co-ed group, but it's a fantastic group, but I seriously recommend it for advanced and maybe advanced intermediate only, just because of the typical pace, length, and elevation of their rides. I don't recommend it for beginners, but it is an awesome group. If you're serious about either, if you're an aspiring racer or you are a racer, perfect group for you. Or even if you're just really serious about getting stronger and faster, absolutely perfect group to join. They have training rides in the Bowie and Laurel area, but they also ride Alexandria. They ride Charles County, like down in Waldorf. They ride any and everywhere. So I definitely recommend that group for my advanced crowd. So that's all I have. I hope that this was some good information for you. I'm hoping that now you are more informed and more excited about what Prince George's County has to offer in terms of bike trails. So now that you know, go ride.